Now in this last example of code, we're going to take a look at one of the plugins available in the Portswigger community. So let me introduce you to that community. First, you can see the URL on how to access the particular location for the Portswigger community plugins. That is over https://github.com/portswigger. This is a centralized repository that contains all of those custom burp extensions that you see inside of the BApp store. And of course, all of these are written by the community. They're written by everyday users and developers, people that needed some sort of specialized functionality and decided to write a custom plugin. So the particular custom plugin that we're going to look at is called Flow. The source code for getting the Flow extension is located at the github.com portswigger/flow location. So I encourage you to go ahead and clone that repository and download it to your local machine so that you can follow along with me as we look through the source code. Now, as we take a look at the source code for this particular Java extension, you're going to notice that there's a lot of Java Swing components that provide not only a new tab but also a pop-up menu and several calls that we'll see to the Burp Interface API. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into this Flow extension. We're going to review the code. We're going to install the particular plugin from the BApp store this time. And then we're going to interact with that plugin by running it against a live site. In this last demo, we're going to take a look at the Flow extension. Now, this is an extension that you can actually get directly from the BApp store, which is how I'm going to load it into Burp. But we are curious about the source code. So as we take a look at the burpextender.java, which we know we have to have this class, we can see that it actually extends a different class, Flow extension. So Flow extension is available under a completely different package name. So let's go to that package name. By the way, when you download this from GitHub, you will see all of this code included. So let's go to flowextension.java. Now here we can see that this class is implementing that iBurp extender, the mandatory interface that we must implement in order to create an extension. It also has some Swing related interfaces. So we can see iTab, obviously that's going to give us a new tab. We can see 3 additional listeners, HTTP listener, the scope change listener, and again we see the extension state listener. One of the interesting things about this particular extension is it allows you to add new issues. In the new tab, there is a pop-up that allows you to add a new issue. What's interesting about this feature is it has an issue area. It also has a remediation area. It's still using the iScan issue class that we've seen used in some of the other demos. The reason why I like this particular example is because it is heavy in the Java Swing components. So if this is something of interest to you, this is definitely a good example to take a look at. So let's move on to the next step of installing this into Burp. Because this extension is available in the BApp store, I'm going to load it directly from there. So we can see it's called Flow. Let's go ahead and install it. After you install it, you should immediately notice a new tab called Flow. You can see here that I have a table and I have 2 boxes below. One is going to be for the request and one will be for the response. Let's go ahead and get some traffic flowing through here so we can see how this particular functionality works. So using my demo.testfire.net, I'm just going to reload the page. So coming to the bottom here, if I wanted to add a new issue, what I would do is I would add a new sitemap issue. Here's the pop-up that I was telling you about. So this allows me to add a new issue. I can set the severity, I can set the confidence, I can give it a brand new name. Let's just call this new issue. I would put in here the details that I needed about my particular issue, and then I would put the remediation details, so It could be input validation or output encoding, and then give some background about cross-site scripting, and then give some background about the remediation. So then you can click OK, and you will see on the Target tab your brand new issue. So obviously this is for issues that you may come across as you're pen testing and don't necessarily have a title from burp or may not even have that issue identified. So this allows you to quickly add that issue, and then of course you can extract it out in a report or extract it out in XML and send it on down the road for different metrics tracking. So that's an overview of the flow extension. So in this module, we looked at several plugins that allowed us to understand the different interfaces that are available inside of the burp API. We took some sample code from the PortSwigger extender page, as well as looked at some sample code from the PortSwigger community. In the upcoming module, you are going to be challenged to build upon this knowledge to complete several exercises that will help you to build your confidence in writing custom plugins in burp.